Hello, I'm Rick, also known as the Tarot Fellow, but you already know that because you're somewhere on my social media right now. This meditation that you're about to do was originally part of about 2 hours worth of coursework that came in one of the emotional empowerment boxes that myself and Hollie Hope put together. Now, the emotional empowerment boxes are kits of metaphysical and spiritual supplies, and they include coursework to help you utilize all of the items in that kit to overcome the most prevalent negative emotion in the world for that month. Now, as you do this meditation, there will be items that are mentioned that were originally part of the kit to help enhance the meditation experience. You may or may not have some of these items yourself. If you do, please feel free to use them. If not, if you have a tarot deck, I do recommend you pull out the card and sit with its energy during the meditation. And if you don't have anything at all, that's perfectly okay too. There's still something in this meditation for you. If you're interested in the emotional empowerment boxes, you can get them at thebeautyofperspective.com. And they do sell out. We pack enough for the subscribers and a few extras. And as soon as they are gone, except for the 4 original core boxes that were the first 4 releases. Those will be replenished, and so those meditations will be available only to subscribers. So get yours today at thebeautyofperspective.com, and I hope that you enjoy this meditation. You know, it's not always easy to sit in the dark. It's helpful when you have a light, like this candle here, which provides at least some context, some hope, a point of fixation, a point for meditation. When you're asked to sit in the dark, it can be very disorienting. Sometimes we forget what our faces look like. We forget who we are. And in today's tarot story, we learn of the Hermit. This is a time in the life of the Fool where he completely retreats into himself, where he discovers this need for introspection, going within, finding all of the corners and the hidden things in his own mind. He knows that he has to clean up and to sit in the dark. And he becomes so familiar with the paths in the dark as he goes for his nightly walks that he soon doesn't need even any guidance in order to walk his life path. He knows it so well because in the dark, the other senses pick up where our eyes let off. And we learn and we know things in a completely different way. And that is what is so beautiful about the story of the Hermit. And he doesn't have to stay long in the dark. In fact, he visits and then he finds ways to unravel all of those things within himself that need introspection, that need that solo work. And then he is able to rejoin society in a much brighter, happier place. And we've talked about shadow work before, and how shadow work isn't working with dark energy. It's not working with dark entities. It is not working with black magic. It is nothing like that. So when you hear shadow work, it should not feel evil. It should not feel, well, let's be honest, it is a little scary. But what it is it is going inside and finding those things that we don't like about ourselves and exposing them to ourselves and examining the frameworks and the structures and the society that we live in to find these truths about ourselves that we have accepted without real reason. An example of this might be that you believe that in order to be dateable, you have to be 10 pounds lighter. Who taught you that? Why would you believe it? Is it society? Is it people telling you things that aren't true, that you have adopted and put into your own world perspective? And then how can we dismantle those things that we have accepted as true even though they really aren't? Anytime we do that, anytime we find discomfort and instead of blaming somebody else, we look inward, that is shadow work. And today, I'm going to bring you into a meditative state that will allow us to expose some of those things. I do want to clarify that we're not reliving trauma, we're not going into trauma, okay? We are not examining trauma, not here, not this very moment. We're examining truth, and there's a big difference, because finding the truth is what is most important here. And those traumatic events that you've had in your life may point to some truths. This is very true. But let's focus on the truth and not the trauma. Shadow work can involve trauma. Shadow work can involve a lot of things. But all of it, the whole point is to get to the truth. And we don't have to relive every shadow moment in order to do shadow work. And not only that, but we get deeper and deeper every time we go into ourselves, and we uncover new layers and new wells of darkness and new truths that have been faked, that we have accepted, that we have believed, that we get to dismantle. So that's a lot of fun. And that's how it should feel. It should feel different. It should feel introspective. It should feel special. It can be scary. It can be emotional. But that's all part of the exposure. Because after all, what should we do when all of the light disappears? Well, the truth of the matter is we all have our internal lights that will guide us, that will lead us, and that will always be there for us to expose the shadows and to call them into truth. So let's find those inner lights. For this meditation, you're going to want to be comfortable. You can do this seated with your feet on the floor or lying down. And let's get ready. You'll want your tarot card to focus your meditation on, and anything else from the kit that you wish to have with you as a guide. Maybe your rainbow moonstone to amplify that inner light. I'm going to turn off the video so that you have no further distractions. I start by taking a big deep breath in through the nose and exhale, let it go. One more time, in through the nose and exhale, let it go. want you to imagine that you're walking down a path. It can be any kind of path. Maybe it's a sidewalk in your favorite city, or a sandy beach, or a leaf-covered path in the forest in the fall. Whatever your path, feel what it is made of underneath your feet. What sounds does it make as you walk upon it? What sounds are there in the air around you? What do you smell? What do you feel? And even how does the air taste? This path leads you into an open field. The wind is calm and the grass bows in the breeze. Above you, the sky is blue, and you see above you an eagle flying high in the sky. This eagle is coming from the east to your location. And this eagle begins to descend until you can see into his dark eyes as he flies around you. This eagle is Biaguea. He is the guardian of the East, and he has come to teach you a lesson. With the wind beating from his wings, the air around you becomes light and moving and quick, and you become light. So light that you begin to float up, up, up with Biaguea, up with the great eagle, until you are hovering in the sky and are able to look down below you at your life path. Here you see everything so clearly from this great perspective. You can see your challenges as mountains, and how your path might zig around or through or under or over them. You can see which choices might lead you to more challenges, to more difficult paths, or to ease and abundance. Take a moment to examine this path from this perspective and see if you can place your real life scenarios, the real life things that you are dealing with right now on this path. And perhaps Biaguea, this great eagle, with his amazing perspective, might show you which paths to take to make life easier, or to learn the lessons quicker. begin to descend back down into the meadow. But as your feet hit the ground, you notice that the grass continues to grow as you continue to shrink. Here on the ground, you get smaller and smaller and smaller, until the grass towers above you as tall as skyscrapers. The sand now looks like pebbles, and the rocks like boulders. And from the south, you hear a little rustling as the grass bends, and Bonazzi the mouse comes face to face with you. You are Bonazzi's size, the size of a mouse. And he has come to teach you a lesson. He gestures for you to follow him, and you are glad because he is pushing a path through the tall blades of grass that you are able to follow behind. Bonazzi tells you that he is here to show you and remind you of the details, the finer parts of your path, the things that you very often don't pay attention to. In his presence, you will be reminded of names or things or calendar events or birthdays or all sorts of little details that maybe you have forgotten. Pay special attention to these moments, to these things that you notice, these details of your own life path that have been forgotten. Take note of them mentally, so that you may remember them when this meditation is complete and take action on these small details that are often forgotten. Bonazzi begins to running towards the west, and you chase him, determined to stick on the path that he has carved for you. But as you run, you realize you are growing again. You are getting taller. The grass is getting shorter. And as you chase and chase, you soon realize that you have lost the trail and lost Bonazzi the mouse. And you are now standing at the entrance of a great forest. You enter the forest and you begin down the paths, and the trees get so thick that they block out the sun. Darkness settles in and the shadows come to life, and you realize here you are, in the land of the shadow, in the land of the hermit. Here it doesn't matter which direction you travel. It doesn't matter which path you should take. It doesn't matter if there's a path or not. Because in the darkness, it is all the same, and the shadows are alive, and the trees become monsters. Ahead of you, you notice two glowing eyes, and a giant spirit begins to lumber towards you. As it gets nearer, you can barely make it out. But finally, the shadow reveals itself to be a great bear. This is Dubadois, the guardian of the West. And he is here to teach you a lesson. The great bear is in fact brave. He is also frightening. Here in this domain of the shadows, in this domain of isolation, maybe even in this domain of hibernation, he rules. And yet he is a part of you, just assuredly as any of our other guides. And this land is your land, and he knows how to navigate it. Here in this space, it is important to use our inner light to remind ourselves of love and warmth and kindness. As we look upon these monstrous trees, these shadows that in the dark have grown bigger than they truthfully are, these truths that we believe in ourselves, that we allow to intertwine in our lives to choke out the light, to hide our light, to be the bushel by which our light is concealed. Dubadois demands that you see these things clearly, that you get as close as you need to them to understand and unravel them, and to see how big or small they truly are, to attempt to see them in earnest, to make your way through this winding forest until there is no untruth left hidden. Examine the trees. Follow Dubadois, however he guides you, to discover some truths about yourself that you have been hiding. Dubadois, the great bear, with the sharp teeth and giant claws, has now become a friend. You've grown comfortable together in this space. You understand each other in this space. And he now guides you further and deeper into the forest, where to your surprise, a light appears. You head towards the light, towards the direction of the north. And Dubadois disappears into the shadows as you step out onto a beautiful river, an opening in the forest. Here in the middle of the river stands a great buffalo. This is Bojana, the great spirit of the north. This buffalo appears dirty, as if they're going to bathe in the water. But as you watch them shake the dirt from their fur, the wind catches, and in this cloud of dust, you think you can see faces. And you realize that it isn't dirt at all, but these are the ashes of the ancestors. Bojana invites you to visit with your ancestors, to float with them on the wind. They are proud of you for the work that you have done here, the things that you have seen here. And they may have guidance for you. And so I invite you to take a few minutes and sit with them in the light, in the dark. For together, they are both you. And you now understand that they are just two pieces of the same whole. It is time now to come back to this place, to this room, to your body. Begin by taking a deep breath in through the nose. And exhale, let it go. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. Roll out your wrists and your ankles. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. And so light and darkness becomes one as we examine our life path, as we recall the details, as we sit in the shadow and visit with the ancestors. We have this ability to see things more clearly, to go deeper, to find again those other hidden layers. I wish that I could say that the dark forest went away, but it never does. Every time we go back, it's always there, and there's more truth to discover. I think that's really exciting because it's almost like, I don't know, a quest to find these truths about ourselves, to play this game of life, right? Where we're so good at lying to ourselves. And so that forest is always there. But your inner light guides you. And you know your truth. And that is perhaps the greatest thing of all, is that no matter how hidden it is, we can go inside to find it. And whether we choose to hide that from others or not, that doesn't even matter. Not at this point, right? It's about that discovery for ourselves and discovering that that light is still there and learning to trust it again. Thank you so much for joining me.